My name is Bear. Belgian Malinois. 5 years of service. Wilderness patrol. In the Appalachian Mountains. I was trained for the worst situations. Search and rescue. Tracking lost hikers. Dealing with aggressive wildlife. Even armed poachers. I knew how to handle danger until that night. Until the old-growth forest. Because there are things they don't teach you in any training. Things that have no protocol. Things that shouldn't exist in any field manual. And when you encounter those things, your training means nothing. Before I continue, if you like real horror stories told by those who lived them, subscribe for every loyal dog who keeps the darkness away. Here at Midnight Barks, each story, there's a different dog, a different place, a different terror. And this story will make you think twice about what really lives in those deep mountain forests. And now, let the barks guide you. Let's go. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Appalachian Range, Tennessee-North Carolina border. Over 800 square miles of protected wilderness. These mountains are ancient. The Cherokee called them the place of blue smoke because of the mist that rises from the valleys. But they had other names too. Names that meant where the forest watches back. I've worked the Appalachian woods for 3 years with my partner David, forest ranger, 34 years old. He knows every trail, every ridge in these mountains. But there's one place even he avoids. The Silent Zone. Deep in the old-growth forest where the trees are so ancient, they create their own darkness. Comment below and tell me what city you're watching from. I need to know how far this warning spreads. Because what happened in these Appalachian woods could happen in any mountain range where the old forests still stand. Thursday, November 19th. David and I were on overnight duty at Cabin 12, a backcountry ranger station 3 miles deep in the Appalachian forest, half a mile from the Silent Zone. We'd spent the day patrolling the eastern trails. Around 2 p.m., we found a lost hiker near Laurel Creek. College student, visibly shaken, kept looking back at the tree line. I heard something deep in the woods, she said, like a scream, but not human, and I saw big trees shaking. Something huge was moving through there. David gave her water, checked her map, probably an elk. They sound strange during rutting season. This was a full-grown tree, she insisted. David smiled. Mountains play tricks on you. Let's get you back to the main trail. We walked her out. She kept glancing back nervously. After she left, I watched David's face. He'd heard the stories, but he shook his head. Probably nothing. We finished our patrol, logged the wildlife activity. By 4 p.m., we were back at the cabin. David restocked supplies, while I patrolled the perimeter. Everything was quiet. Normal. By 6 p.m., dark clouds rolled over the ridges. David started a fire, heated soup. We settled in. He was reading, occasionally tossing me jerky. The cabin was warm, safe, just another routine night. Then the storm hit, thunder across the ridges, rain hammering the roof, wind howling through the woods. David looked up from his book, stared at the fire. My grandfather said that on stormy nights, things move in these woods that usually stay hidden. The rain covers their sounds. He paused. He said if something from the deep forest comes to you, show no fear. The old things respect strength above all else. The fire crackled. David laughed nervously. Just old mountain stories, right? Then his radio crackled. Ranger 7, this is Control. We have an emergency. David grabbed the radio. Go ahead, Control. Hikers are reporting screams from the backcountry. Grid Eco 7, the Silent Zone. Possible injured person. You're the closest unit. Can you respond? David's face went pale. Eco 7. The deep Appalachian woods his grandfather warned him about. Control. It's a severe storm. Visibility is near zero. Request we wait for daylight. Negative. If someone's injured in this weather, they won't make it through the night. You need to respond now. David closed his eyes. Copy that. Ranger 7 responding. He looked at me. Stay close, Bear. No matter what happens in those woods, we stay together. He grabbed his pack, flashlight, flares, bear spray, rain jacket. His hands were shaking as he checked his gear. We stepped out into the storm and headed toward the Silent Zone. The Appalachian forest was different at night in the rain. The normal sounds, birds, insects, wind through leaves, were drowned out by the downpour. David's flashlight cut through sheets of rain, illuminating massive trees, disappearing up into darkness. We pushed deeper into the woods. The deeper we went into these mountain woods, the harder it became to breathe. The air was thick, oppressive, like the forest itself was pressing down on us. And the silence. Even with the storm, there should have been sounds. Animals taking shelter, water running, something, but there was nothing. Just oppressive, waiting silence, broken only by rain. At the 1 mile mark, I smelled it. Musk, powerful, wild, not bear, not elk, not any animal I knew from 3 years patrolling these Appalachian Mountains. This was something else, something that made every hair on my body stand up. Forest Service. David called into the mist-shrouded woods. If you need help, call out. His voice fell flat, absorbed by the ancient trees and fog. No response, just that heavy, watching silence. We pushed deeper. The mist got thicker. David's flashlight barely cut through it now. The massive trees seemed to lean in, closing the path behind us. Then I saw it, 20 feet ahead, barely visible through the mist. A tree, ancient oak, 4 feet thick, broken, snapped at 8 feet high, like someone had grabbed it and twisted until the wood gave way. Fresh splinters, still raw. What could do that? David whispered, approaching slowly. No storm, no lightning. What has that kind of strength? The musk smell hit me full force. Fresh, close. Whatever broke that tree was here, watching us. I spun, hackles up, growling at the mist. David turned his light to where I was staring. At first, nothing. Just fog and darkness and ancient Appalachian woods. Then the mist moved wrong. Something massive stepped between 2 trees. The flashlight beam caught it, and David's breath stopped. It was enormous. 8 feet tall, maybe 8.5. But it was the build that made it terrifying. Shoulders so broad they seemed impossibly wide for feet across, at least. Arms that hung down past where knees should be, ending in hands that looked powerful enough to snap trees. The entire body was covered in dark brown hair, shaggy and thick, soaked from the rain. Water dripped off it in streams, but it stood upright. Walked on 2 legs with a gait that was wrong, not human, not ape, something ancient and other. The head was massive, conical, covered in that same dark hair, but I could see the face through it. A pronounced brow ridge, a flat nose, and the jaw powerful, jutting forward slightly. When it breathed, I could see its chest rise and fall. Massive, powerful, and its eyes. When David's flashlight hit them, they reflected back like an animal's yellow-green, glowing in the darkness. But there was something behind those eyes. Not animal instinct. Intelligence. Ancient awareness. It was looking at us the same way we looked at it. Studying. Thinking. This was it. The creature from the stories. Bigfoot. The thing David never believed in. The legend he dismissed 1,000 times. And it was standing right there in the Appalachian woods, as real as the trees around us. Oh God, David breathed. Grandfather was right. The old things in these mountains, they're real. The creature tilted its head. That gesture was almost human, curious, assessing. Then it made a sound. Not a roar, not a growl, something lower. A vocalization that started deep in its chest and vibrated through the air. Almost like communication, like it was testing us. It took 1 step forward. The ground trembled under its weight. I could hear its breathing now, deep, powerful. The breathing of something massive and alive. David's hand found his bear spray. Stay back, he said, his voice shaking. We don't want trouble. The creature stopped, not because it was afraid. It stopped because it chose to. It raised 1 massive arm, the muscles visible, even under the thick hair, and slammed it against a tree trunk. Boom. The impact echoed through the Appalachian woods like thunder. It hit the tree again, each strike shaking the ground. Bark exploded. The tree itself shuddered. This was a display, a warning. This forest is mine. You're trespassing. Okay, David said, backing away slowly. We're leaving. We're going. But the creature moved. Fast. Impossibly fast for something that size and build. It circled left in 3 long strides, cutting off our retreat. Its movements were fluid despite its size, powerful, controlled. Now it stood between us and the way out of these mountain woods, It wanted to herd us deeper, into the silent zone, into its territory. No, David said, his voice steady, despite the terror I could smell. We're not going deeper into these woods, the thing growled. A sound that started deep in its barreled chest and vibrated through the mist-shrouded forest. Then it charged, not full speed, a test. Would we run? Would we panic? Bear, stay, David commanded. Every instinct screamed run, but I stayed. Beside my partner in these dark Appalachian woods. The creature stopped 10 feet away. It stood to full height, over 8 feet tall. It beat its chest with both fists, the sound like war drums echoing through the ancient forest. I could see the muscles in its arms and shoulders moving under the wet fur. Power, terrible power. Then it reached down and grabbed a fallen log, had to weigh 300 pounds. It lifted it like it weighed nothing and threw it. The log crashed through smaller trees, splintering them. David grabbed a flare. You want intimidation? He popped it. Brilliant red light exploded through the mist and rain, turning the Appalachian woods crimson. He threw it at the creature's feet. It roared pain, surprise. The light hurt its eyes. It stumbled back, shielding its face with one massive arm. Move, David yelled. We ran through the woods. Not toward the exit, the creature blocked that. David ran perpendicular through the old-growth forest, trying to circle around. Behind us, crashing. The creature recovered. It was coming. I could hear its branches breaking, the heavy impact of its feet, its powerful breathing. David's flashlight bounced wildly as we ran through the mist-shrouded Appalachian forest. Trees, fog, darkness, rain. My paws splashed through mud. The crashing got closer, louder. It was faster than us in these woods. This was its territory. Then David's boot caught a root. He went down hard in the mud. The crashing stopped. The forest went silent, except for the rain. I stood over David, snarling into the mist. I couldn't see it, but I could smell it, hear it, close. David tried to get up, gasped. His ankle was badly twisted. Bear, run, he whispered. Get out of these woods. Get help. I didn't move. That's an order. I growled louder. No, not in these Appalachian woods. Not alone. The creature emerged from the mist. Slow now, confident. It knew David was hurt, knew we were trapped in its forest. It reached out one massive hand toward him. I could see the fingers, long, powerful, ending in thick nails. I lunged, 70 pounds of Belgian Malinois fury. I went for its leg, got a mouthful of hair and flesh, bit down with everything I had, tasted blood. It roared in pain and shock, swung at me with one massive arm. The impact hit like a truck. I flew back, slammed into a tree. My vision exploded. Bear. David was somehow on his feet. He unleashed both canisters of bear spray into the creature's face. It screamed, a sound that shook the entire forest. It clawed at its eyes, stumbled backward into the mist. David grabbed me. Come on up. We moved together through the dark woods, him leaning on me limping. Behind us, the creature recovered, crashing, following. Angry now, David stopped, turned to face it in the mist-shrouded Appalachian forest. Come on, he shouted. You want us? Here we are, but you'll have to kill us both, and we'll make you bleed for it. I stood beside him, growling, ready. We were hurt, terrified, but together in these ancient woods, the crashing stopped, heavy silence. Then I saw it through the mist, a massive silhouette between two trees, standing there, its eyes glowing yellow-green in David's flashlight beam, watching us. And then, it did something I'll never understand. It made a sound, not aggression, something else. Almost like acknowledgement. It had tested us in its forest. We'd fought back, refused to abandon each other, and somehow, that mattered to this ancient thing in the Appalachian Mountains. It turned and vanished into the mist and darkness, silent despite its massive size. We stood there for 20 minutes in those woods, not moving, making sure it was gone. Finally, David collapsed. He pulled me close. You didn't run. You could have escaped these woods. Why didn't you run? Because where would I go without you? We made it back to the cabin by midnight. David's ankle was badly sprained. My ribs were cracked, but we were alive. The senior ranger, Tom, came at dawn. David told him everything. Tom just nodded. You went into the silent zone, into the deep Appalachian woods where the old things live. Most don't come back. That creature could have killed you, but it didn't, because you stood together. That's all that matters in these mountains. David transferred 3 months later, works at a desert park now. No forests. He couldn't do the Appalachian Mountains anymore, but before he left, he told me, "Bear, when that thing came for me in those woods, I couldn't move. But you didn't hesitate. It was stronger, faster. It could have killed us, but we refused to quit. We stood together, and that was enough." This was the story of Bear. Belgian Malinois, from the Great Smoky Mountains, Appalachian Range, United States. If this gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me, have you been in the deep Appalachian forests? Have you ever felt like something was watching you in those ancient woods? Subscribe to Midnight Barks and hype this video to honor this brave dog. Stay alert in your channel for more stories. Another dog, another place, another terror. And remember, if your dog stands their ground when every instinct says run, never abandon them, because loyalty isn't about being fearless. It's about staying, even when you're terrified. The wilderness respects that, and sometimes, that's the only thing that saves you. Listen to your dog. Stand with your dog, always.